welcome to the SVG TV news for Thursday, November 17th. With the details tonight, I am Khalil Cato. 2 new market facilities were opened here in Kingstown today as part of efforts to clean up the city and regularize vending in the capital. At the opening ceremony outside the Queen's Warehouse, Project Officer Shari Roberts-Duggan says the Kingstown Cleanup Campaign is one that was carefully crafted to relocate vendors, which will be done in different phases so that the service that they provide through the sale of their produce and vegetables can continue and will be beneficial to all.
Keeping this in mind and the vendors at forefront of our minds, 3 places were identified for refurbishment and relocation. They were the old meat market, the old vegetable market, and the former customs building right here. 2 of the buildings will be opened today, whilst the 3rd building will be opened at a later date. And the renovation works included repairs to the stalls, roofs of the buildings, electrical and plumbing works. So like the old saying says, it was indeed a long time coming, but today marks another step in history towards further development for our capital, Kingstown. And all of us present here or listening via the different platforms can attest to this. This phase of cleaning up Kingstown through the relocation of the vendors took many deliberations, but it was a task that we had to do and it must be done. And as the scripture tells us in 1 Corinthians chapter 16 and verse 4, let all that you do be done in love. So this step today provides a more comfortable space for vendors from the elements of the weather to continue with their trade and to provide a great service for all.
Warden of the Kingstown Town Board, Clayton Bergen, says the opening of the markets, which are to provide sheltered facilities for vendors, is one of the activities planned to commemorate the 125th anniversary of the Kingstown Board, which will be observed tomorrow.
The opening of these markets demonstrates the government's commitment to enabling the dignity and worth of our people with vendors at the forefront. After 125 years, we cannot expose our vendors to the elements such as rain and sun. When nature calls, we can't have our vendors running here, there, and everywhere. We cannot have our vendors racing against a sudden downpour to scramble up their produce before it is washed away, because we care about your well-being and livelihood. There are those who, from their lofty air-conditioned offices and homes, pretend to care about your well-being, but they do not. You know why they don't care? Because they're all over the media saying to leave you in the sun. It's what you are used to. And some of you succumb to their callous and selfish demands.
Bergen further told the vendors they should pay attention to the sound advice and suggestions from those who have their best interests at heart, noting that the Kingstown Board is concerned about their well-being and wants to put them in a good position so that they can get the most out of their business.
We both know that exposing your vegetables and provisions to the beating sun, rain, and sun again will cause them to spoil faster. And they may become quail and burnt, which is exactly what those who call caring citizens want for you and your goods, or for your goods to be spoiled, be thrown away, and the money you spend to purchase them to be wasted. I want you to think about that and dwell on that. They are telling you these things in order to remain relevant, because otherwise they are irrelevant. They see you as easy prey to stroke their ego. Don't fall for it. Don't let them use you for their evil plan. Maintain your focus on your mission to earn a living and provide for your family. Practice your trade with dignity and to be no one's puppet.
The KTB warden says they have already held brief discussions with the Center for Enterprise Development about collaborating to find ways to help the vendors carry out their business more effectively and efficiently.
We are not only concerned with ensuring that you pay the fee, we also want to assist you in growing your business. I know many of you are being misled by the loudmouths out there and cursing me everywhere. But I will not do the same. My issue is not with you cursing me and the government. My main concerns are that you are in a decent and respectable environment and that your sales are maximized. This is about you and the service you provide to the Vincentian public to ensure that you provide the best service possible to your customers. Now, as you occupy these facilities between now and November the 29th, I ask that you follow the regulations governing their use. You are to treat them as if they were built by your own sweat and blood. Do not mistreat them.
Bergen says the new market facilities will have a manager and someone on the floor supervising things, security personnel, and cleaners to ensure everything is in order and that the vendors are following the rules and regulations. He says there will be no produce cleaning on the compound and that there will be no storage of items in the aisles inside the markets as lockers are provided to each vendor. According to Bergen, everyone who sells produce should be in a facility by November 28th, as street vending for vegetables, provisions, and other food products will be prohibited from Tuesday, November 29th. He reiterates that there is no street vending for those who have been given a space in the two new markets and the current vegetable market, and that any unwarranted structure will be removed by the end of the day on Monday, November 28th. He urged everyone to comply. Delivering the feature address at the opening ceremony was Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who told the gathering that vendors make an important contribution to the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is very appreciated.
I want also to emphasize that we recognize that the vendors have initiative, the vendors have creativity, and by engaging in vending, they find an important way within their own capacity to provide for themselves and their families. And I recognize all that as being very important. And we want to see vending done in an organized manner, in the best possible way for the vendors and for the community as a whole. Vendors are part of a society. We have to respect them, we have to appreciate them, but they must also recognize that the society does not belong to them alone.
Commenting on the recent cleanup exercise at the Kingstown Vegetable Market by the Town Board, Prime Minister Gonsalves says knowing that Vincentians are clean and tidy people, he was shocked by the reaction of some persons, including from the opposition.
You have the opposition leader and other people from the opposition going there, issuing statements that we are not being sufficiently appreciative of the work of the vendors and we shouldn't be cleaning the market. I never hear anything like that since I born. All of the vendors, and I go to the homes of many of them, their homes are clean. So how could you want to clean your own house and don't keep clean the place where you work and earn a living? And I say this, I got a lot of telephone calls when the cleaning was going on. I called Clayton. Well, I knew what was happening before. I said, tell me, what we are doing, is it done with sensitivity and care for the property of the vendors? He assured me that all that was taking place. But I know when he and Johnny Jones, Archbishop Jones, were going around and others, it came to my attention. They saying, all you go on. We go call the comrade, we'll come the comrade and he go sort this out. I'm advising you all, don't think you can sick me like a bad dog upon Clayton and Johnny. I'm a reasonable human being. I love you. I care for you. But we have to do things properly in the interest of everybody, including yourself.
The Prime Minister says vendors who have outgrown the market and are operating supermarket-like businesses on the streets The Kingstown Town Board will continue to hold discussions with these people to arrive at the best solution.
There are some people who are completely unreasonable. How you could put on the street a mobile supermarket? Eh? By the way, some of the street vendors, they know what I'm talking about. Some of them is not their business, you know. It's business of people who have shops and stores. They're runners. They're doing business on the street for the established business them. You all know who they are? And I know who they are. And Clayton know who they are. Sometime when I talk to some of the fellas with shops and stores, I say, but how y'all could do that? They say, well, comrade, if you can't beat them, you have to join them. Well, we have to put the thing in some proper order.
Dr. Gonzalez says capital Kingstown will be experiencing a revolution and he will not be deterred from this plan.
By the port, when we finish building the port, the land which is up here for the port, we have plenty land. We are looking for resources and other investors for us to develop this area. I want another cruise ship pier there, and I want beautiful shops along the way. And I'm hoping that the children, our grandchildren of some of the vendors will get some of those business places to run, to improve themselves further. Because we have to build the generations, you know, and we're educating them to be able to go up market. And I tell you this, when up here is nice up, valuable as these shops are, these 99 shops which we're giving out here today, is then you're going to hear people running and saying, if I didn't know, I would have taken one of them up here. You hear me? Because you're going to get plenty traffic. Just bear bob, bear bob. We have a plan, I'm telling you what it is about. And in the middle of the city, I already get 2.5 million US of the 5 million which is required to knocking down Little Tokyo, and we building it up back better than ever before. But I tell everybody this, where I got 32 or 34 rum shops down a Little Tokyo, I ain't building it back to put them rum shop there. You hear what I'm telling you? I know some of them will cost me, but you know I don't mind costing.
According to PM Gonzalez, over the next 10 to 14 days, a total of 800 vendors will be removed from the streets of Kingstown, and by November 29th, all the streets will be cleared of informal street vending. He says the two newly built markets and the existing central vegetable market will accommodate 389 registered vendors to continue to ply their trade. And some of the vendors who will be occupying the stalls in the new market facilities say they are pleased to have shelter over their heads and promise to do their best to keep the facilities clean.
I feel pleased with the market because we don't have to be in the sun, we don't have to be in the rain anymore, and we don't have to run and cover up the counter. And I feel good, and I feel happy and everything that we get the stall and the market, and hope that God will send buyers to give us a sale. Right? So I feel happy. I feel happy with everything. No problem. No mind saying it's small, but it's still comfortable, and we'll make use of it throughout the year.
Well, it's a good thing for us, and it's a bad thing also, because as you know, the Christmas season is coming up, and that is when we get in our sale. And coming in the market, I don't think we will make as much as if we are on the street. But when you think about the weather, like the rain and the sun, it's a good thing for us, so we are thankful.
It seems like it's comfortable. It's spacious. I like it. Preventing us from the sun and the rain, and I like it. It's looking good. I'll do my best, keep it clean, enjoy it, and make the most of it. Once my customers come in and support me.
Well, you don't know. everything will be better than before because when sun hit me and me had to move. I not got to move because me didn't under shelter and stuff like that. So thing more better still.
Feeling thankful and to be off the streets. It's looking alright. Once we keep it clean, it's alright.
I feel good because I come out in the street, you know. Yeah, but because every day come in the street, sometimes rain falling, we have to warn sometimes I can't come because rainfall, too much rainfall, and I can sit down in a comfortable place, you know, no sun, no rain. Yeah, I feel good.
In other news, Glenroy Primus is in police custody assisting with the murder investigations into the death of Hilton Thomas, a 56-year-old resident of Mount Pleasant, Mesopotamia, who was allegedly chopped about his body with a cutlass. Police say the deceased and the accused were involved in a long-standing dispute, and on Tuesday, the deceased left his home at about 6:30 p.m. for a nearby shop. Upon his return home at 1:30 a.m. on Wednesday, he saw Primus standing in his yard, who began to accuse the deceased of having gone to steal. An argument ensued, which resulted in Primus leaving his yard, trespassed into Thomas's yard and chopping him several times about his body with the cutlass. Thomas was pronounced dead at the scene by the district medical officer. A post-mortem examination is expected to be carried out to ascertain the exact cause of death. Police say investigations into the matter are ongoing and that persons with information that can assist them with the investigations can contact them. Thomas's death is the 36th homicide recorded for the year 2022 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Belair Health Centre held a diabetes awareness fair at the E.T. Joshua Car Park in Arnesville yesterday. At the fair, free blood pressure checks, foot care, and educational information were provided to persons in an effort to help promote a healthier lifestyle. The event formed part of activities being hosted by the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment in commemoration of World Diabetes Day observed on Monday, November 14th under the theme Education to Protect Tomorrow. Staff nurse at the Belair Health Centre, Judisha Stevens, told SVG TV News that it is important that people are aware of diabetes and other non-communicable diseases as they are the leading causes of death and other health problems in the country.
So today we are here to educate the public. We are here to make awareness of diabetes, which is a metabolic disorder. It affects other bodily systems like the eyes, the kidneys, the feet, and it also affects the nerve. We are here doing blood pressure checks, blood glucose checks, HbA1c checks, cholesterol checks, and we also have food care assessments being done. We have the nutrition units, nutrition units here with us also, and persons from the pharmacy unit. So we are catering for the holistic being of the individual, especially for persons who are diabetics and for persons who also are pre-diabetics and have a history, a family history of diabetes. We encouraging persons to have their regular checkups, which is very important.
Staff nurse Stevens is urging Vincentians to get screening done for diabetes. She says persons can visit the Belair Health Centre on Wednesdays, where they will get screened for both hypertension and diabetes.
You cannot know if you're diabetic if you do not come and check. You do not know if you're hypertensive if you do not come and check. And you know the health centres are always available for you to go in and get your checkups done. We have our checkups done on Wednesdays at the health centre. We call it the Diabetic Hypertensive Clinic. Right? We also encourage persons to come together as a group. We have diabetic hypertensive groups as well, and we are in the process of trying to rejuvenate that because those groups also help us to raise awareness and to continue our education process. And because diabetes and hypertension and non-communicable diseases are on the rise in St. Vincent and Grenadines and all over the world, we see it as an importance of continuing this education every day and anytime we get the opportunity.
There were several nurses at the event assisting with blood pressure checks and glucose checks. The nurses explained the type of tests The nurses explained the type of tests that were being done and encouraged members of the public to take their health more seriously.
The role today is to take blood pressure and do blood pressure and blood sugar screening. So far, screening, I have seen positive things. Everybody that I have screened this morning, blood sugar and blood pressure is good, which I'm happy for. And what I do, after I finish here, you go to the nutritionist, you have your food attended to, and you have your cholesterol taken. My role here today is to do the assessment, take blood pressure and sugar reading, and before as necessary. Well, it's important for the clients to know exactly their sugar level and the blood pressure level, because as we know, blood pressure is a silent killer, and they have the need to, everybody has the need and the right to monitor their blood pressure. So today at the health fair, I am responsible for doing the HbA1c. So that tells you your average blood glucose level over the last 3 months. So far I've noticed some folks have entered into the pre-diabetes category. We have a few persons who are still in the normal range. The pre-diabetes category is important because in that category you may not even have any symptoms and you can start having damages or any changes in your main organs. So it will be very important to implement your control measures, which would include things like adequate dieting, exercise, avoid use of alcohol, smoking, and such like, to prevent from going over into the diabetes category.
As a diabetic for over 5 years, Viola Andrews Jacobs says she is doing her best to keep her diabetes under control. Jacobs says at the health fair, she learned more about how to better care for her feet, the medication, and the right nutrition for diabetics.
Well, I am trying my best to eat properly, drink properly, and do a little bit of exercise when it's available to do. But I do a lot of housework and stuff like that, backward and forward. I am very cautious in my eating. I know what can trigger it, so I just try my best not to do much of it.
Okay, do you take medication?
Yes, I am on metformin, 850 milligrams.
Okay, and how often do you take your
That is 3 times a day.
Okay, so today you're here to take your glucose, right? A checkup. Are you happy with the result that you got
Yes,
today?
I'm very happy because I know what I does. So it's 96.
Okay.
So I'm very happy and very proud of it.
The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has placed an immediate ban on the importation of the chemical substance Malathion. This chemical is used in many countries in the fogging of mosquitoes. This man-made insecticide is commonly used not only to control mosquitoes, but also to control a variety of insects that attack fruits, vegetables, landscaping plants, and shrubs. The other insecticide used in fogging in SVG is permethrin. The Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labour, and the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment said they are considering alternatives to fogging, noting that while fogging is an effective strategy currently used in the control of the spread of mosquitoes, the usage of Malathion has been highlighted as having a devastating impact on bees, plant pollination, and consequently production and food security. Minister of Agriculture Suboto Caesar noted that the ban on the importation of Malathion is another success in their quest to create a cleaner and healthier environment. SVG for several years has banned all glyphosate importation and aerial spraying application. The ban on the usage of Malathion would become effective on December 31st. Yesterday, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Brewery Limited launched a smoother and cheaper Guinness product dubbed the new Guinness Smooth. Guinness Smooth has 2.5% less alcohol than the regular Guinness, which contains 7.5% alcohol and is expected to be sold at a more affordable price at $5 EC per bottle. At the media launch, plant manager Colin Huskinson spoke of the production of Guinness Smooth, noting that the new brand has a shorter period to produce. That should be the new brand takes a shorter period to produce than the normal Guinness.
Guinness is made from the finest quality ingredients. We use the finest malt, the best hops, and you all know St. Vincent and the Grenadines has really good water. And on top of that, we add our own treatment to make sure that Guinness Smooth has the best water in it. Now, in producing Guinness Smooth, it's a shorter production time than Guinness. So that allows us to meet our customer needs faster because there's a shorter turnaround time. Now, the taste of Guinness is something absolutely special. When you taste a Guinness, when you take that first sip this evening, the first thing when you taste a Guinness Smooth, the first thing you're gonna notice is that if you're a Guinness drinker, it has all of the characteristics of a Guinness, but there's an extra smoothness on top of it. Now, flavor-wise, it's a chocolatey sweet flavor, so there's a perfect balance of bitter and sweet. And there's background hints of a roast character. I sound like if I'm describing wine. That is how fantastic this product is. Guinness Smooth is something for a connoisseur to consume. The mouthfeel of Guinness is smooth and creamy. And when you pour it into a glass, there's that creamy head to give it that fantastic finish. The other thing you'll notice is that Guinness Smooth has less alcohol than the Foreign Extra Stout, which will appeal to that additional audience who are looking for something sweeter, milder, creamier, and more flavorful.
Country head for the Guinness brand, Shafia London, said as a company, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Brewery Limited and the Guinness brand continue to evolve, grow, and meet the demand of consumers.
Because we are not making that mistake. As a company, we continuously evolve, we continue to grow, we continue to meet the demands of our consumers, and our consumers have been asking for more. So for the first time in over 50 years, Guinness as a brand has reinvented a new product. And that's a product that you are here to witness the uncapping of. We are keeping up with the changing times. Guinness has a special place in the hearts of Vincentians. For those of you who know me, I'm probably at the top of that. We all love Guinness, we know Guinness. Everything that Guinness does, Vincentians adore. But at the same time, whilst we want to preserve the original flavor, the original boldness of Guinness, we know that there's a new category of drinkers out there. There's a new category of consumers that's looking for something more. They want the boldness, but they want the boldness with a little bit more charisma. And so, we are presenting a product that fits that desire.
Guinness Smooth is an alcoholic beverage, hence only adults 18 years and older are advised to drink the product.